my name is Lauren Mendelsohn. Welcome back to our Strength Within. I started this podcast because I would like to share my journey about epilepsy and bring comfort to people who are struggling with an invisible illness. I want to bring strength to people who want to share their story or need someone to go to. I have a phenomenal support system, but I want to be that person that you can go to if you need someone. First off, I want to start off with saying that I'm wearing purple because it's the ribbon color of epilepsy. I also got my nails done for purple. And last episode, I was wearing a purple sweater. I want to bring color to our invisible illness. If it's the orange ribbon for MS, the pink ribbon for breast cancer, I want to bring awareness. Like you should bring awareness to what you're struggling with, even if it's the small things for you. When I'm walking around, people don't really know why my nails are purple, but I know for me, it's something small I can do to bring awareness. And so I want to take you through my journey of my most recent challenge. May of 2025, I was admitted to the hospital for a 48-hour EEG that turned into a week-long stay at the hospital. Most of you are thinking like, how'd she get there? And so what I want to talk about is in January of 2025, I started having this dream. I looked at my calendar in December because I planned for the following year, and I saw I had an EEG coming up in May. And I didn't really think much of it. It was a 24-hour EEG. And like I stated last episode, I've only had seizures in sleep. So I didn't think much of it. I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this if I'm not going to sleep? So in January, after I realized that I have an EEG coming up, I started having this dream. I didn't connect the two dots until kind of early May. So I had this dream that me and my dad were sleeping next to each other. And I feel like I'm starting to have a seizure. And then he says, if you can go from 10 to 0, you're not having an episode. And this is in my dream. And so I'm sleeping there and I'm counting down from 10. Every time I wake up at 6 and I'm shaking. I think I'm shaking. No one at the time has ever captured me shaking. And so I wake up and I'm sweating. My heart's racing. And I wonder, like, have I had another seizure? I go check in the mirror. Is my tongue bitten? It hasn't been. But my head sometimes is pounding and I'm scared. I don't want to admit it if I've had a small seizure. Like, I don't know. And I started having the dream more often. It was January. Then it was the second week of January. Then it was a couple times in February and a couple times in March. And I'm like, something's wrong. So I went to my doctor and I'm like, I understand that I have a 24-hour EEG coming, but can we turn it into a 48-hour one? By no means am I a medical professional, but the likelihood of me having a seizure awake is less than 1%. So I said, if I want to capture this dream, if I want to ensure that I'm really not having seizures, can we do at least a 48-hour one? The doctor agreed. He has the background, not me. And I said, okay. I don't think the likelihood of having a seizure really hit for me until we got to the hospital. Like I was told, you will probably have a seizure because we're trying to start like set one on. So the likelihood of me having a seizure was likely, and I don't think it hit until I went to the hospital. So 4 months after the dream started, I went into the hospital for the 48-hour sleep study. Me and my dad get to the hospital and we're sitting there and we're checking in and I'm signing these disclosure documents to get recorded or hear audio and all this stuff. And he's sitting there on his phone and I sit down next to him and I'm signing and I just start crying. But I'm trying to be quiet. Like last episode, I talked about how I was emotional. And he knows I'm emotional. So then he turns to me. He's like, are you crying? I'm like, Dad, I don't know why. I'm overwhelmed. He always sees when I cry, I usually say I'm overwhelmed. I can't really explain it. I'm sure most of you relate to it. But so I'm sitting there and I'm signing everything. And he's like, we'll be okay. Everything will be good. I think that's when it hit me that I may have a seizure within the next couple of days. And it's not that I remember the seizure. It's the unknown. It's when am I going to have a seizure? Am I going to have one? Am I going to wake up tomorrow not aware of what happened the night before? And we go upstairs and we're looking out at Orlando because you can see like all of it from whatever floor I was on. And I felt like it was forever, but it was only 10 minutes. And we go to my room. The technician came in and started putting all the sensors on my head because it's supposed to track my neurons and what's going on. And it's more for safety measures too, because as soon as I start having an episode, if I did, it triggers all the different cameras and everything. And then an alarm goes off and then everyone runs to me. And so we're sitting there and I didn't realize that I have to like wear all these sensors for like 48 hours. And then I also had to stay in bed because if I got out of bed during the night or whatever the case may be, there had to be a nurse there just for safety precautions because they didn't know if I was going to have an episode or not. So I'm there the first night, the second night, the third day, they come to me and they're like, hey, I think we're going to take you off your medication to try to capture one of the nightmares. I said, okay. But have you ever gone to the doctor and thought like, I want to have answers, but I don't want to know the answers? So for me, I wanted to get off my medication and have the dream to know if they are episodes and are me having a seizure. Except I didn't want to know if I was having a seizure because then I wouldn't be able to drive for 6 months. I didn't want the dreams to turn into episodes because then it's happening more frequently. For 3 years, I didn't have a seizure. Then I had an episode. Then I just went 1.5 years without one. And when you have an episode, your life changes. Your inability to drive. Your lack of flexibility and freedom. And so I was scared that the nightmares were seizures. Also for my health. Like I'm taking medication every morning, every night. And I was scared, what if they're not working? With seizure medications, it's more trial and error. There's no one size fits all. So I was thinking, if this isn't working, do we have to go through the process again of trying to figure out what medication's right for me? And so on May 18th, at 3-ish a.m., the technicians came in because like a couple of the sensors fell out because it's been a couple days and the glue just wasn't sticking, I guess. And so they came in, they fixed it. And then at like 4:30, the alarms went off and then the nurses came into the room and they forgot to put like the things up that keep me in bed. Like, you know, when you're a kid and you're transitioning from your crib to like a big girl bed and you have like things that keep you in the bed. Well, those were not up. And so I slightly fell out of bed. My mom woke up, all the nurses ran in, and I was having one of those big grand mal seizures. I didn't even know. My mom told me all of it. I have yet to watch the video. Honestly, it just scares me. I can't bring myself to watch it. Maybe this will give me the strength to watch it, to see really what happens, what my caregivers see. And so then I fall back asleep. And then I wake up and my mom's looking at me. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, you had another episode. And I get emotional because the whole fear of like the unknown and going through the process of again, it was overwhelming. It's exhausting to think about. I'm going through it now. It's scary when like I go to bed and I don't know if I'm going to wake up. And so then at like 10, the doctor comes in and my boyfriend's standing at the end of the bed. I don't remember this. It's kind of like foggy to me all day. And he's looking at the little monitor that's like showing my brain waves and it's going crazy. And apparently he said to the doctor, like, is that normal? And I had another episode. And I woke up and the doctor's like closer to me. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, you just had another seizure. I'm like, how? I just had one a couple hours ago. They're like, you fell back asleep. My heart sank once again. This whole process is just, like I said earlier, a lot of emotional episodes I can just explain by I'm overwhelmed. That's my word. You'll hear it throughout the podcast. I'm overwhelmed. So a couple of my girlfriends came to visit me in the hospital. They brought me coloring books and flowers and stuff like that. And a couple weeks ago, I texted one of my girlfriends and I said, hey, like, I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while. She's like, Lauren, I just saw you a couple weeks ago. And I said, where? Like, I forgot. She said, I visited you in the hospital. And I played it off. I'm like, oh, of course. Thank you for everything you brought me, all this stuff. And I went to my parents and I said, I don't remember. Did she come? And they're like, yeah, we walked out with her. And I broke down. I didn't remember. A couple days later, I went to her and I said, hey, I just want to let you know that I forgot you visited me. I was insecure to share with you because I didn't remember. Because I don't know if you'd understand that I forgot. She said, no worries. That's crazy. I always support you. I'll be there for you all the time. And it brought me relief that she said that. Because I was scared that she was going to judge me or feel upset that I forgot she came. And she was supportive. She's continued to be supportive. I want people who struggle with invisible illnesses to find the people who can support you when you're scared. So after I had the episode, I was scared. The doctor said, we didn't capture a nightmare, but we know you're still apt to having seizures. And I said, does it prevent me from driving? And I left the hospital thinking I was still able to drive. Monday, I find out that legally I'm not allowed to drive. I was sitting in the doctor's office. My mom was looking at me and I just started crying. I'm like, there's no way. But the last episode, remember I said everything happens for a reason. So I feel that my inability to drive prevents something else worse from happening. I want you all to know that every day is different. I live in the unknown. I'm going to share more about my story as time goes on. But it's all about pivoting, all about leaning on your support system and leaning on me. I'm here to listen. I want to know if you're scared. I want to try to help. So my next episode will be about, did my journey start on March 26th of 2020? Or did it start a year earlier? Thank you for listening. I'm looking forward to the next episode.